Greetings again, gang. So I'm going to go into this one real quick. Talking about leadership a little. You know, in order for any organization, no matter how big or how small, to work, there needs to be some sort of hierarchy. There needs to be a leader, okay? And on many different levels. I mean, all the way from the top down to mid-level management or whatever it would be. There needs to be leadership in order for a group to work, and that includes a mag, a tribe, whatever you want to call it, okay? It includes it includes a household. Okay? Y'all know as well as I do that there are plenty of people in leadership positions who have no business being there, okay? Just like me, you guys have probably worked for bosses in the past who are completely incompetent. You know of parents, I use the term loosely, who are no more than sperm donors or egg donors because they certainly have no fatherly or motherly skills. Leadership is not something that you are born with the skills to. You know, there is no such thing as, he's a born leader. No, when we're born, we're all the same, okay? We all have an empty brain that needs to be filled with life experience and knowledge. Now, I'll give you this. I've worked for companies in my life where I've highly respected the manager and was willing to do anything they asked. There were other companies I worked for where management was completely out of touch with reality and only in it for themselves, and they didn't care who they screwed over to make themselves look good, okay? In an SHTF situation, we're going to encounter this. Now, chances are the leaders of a group will rise to the top. They'll rise to the occasion. And again, it's all based on who has the experience, who has the knowledge, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, think about this. You've been prepping for 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it would be. If one of your neighbors, let's say the balloon goes up, one of your neighbors and decides all of a sudden, who's never put away a single can of beans, comes up and says, we all need to get together and do things my way. You're going to look at him and go, wrong answer, chump. Get to the back of the line. You don't have a clue what's about to happen. You're certainly not knowledgeable, you're certainly not experienced, and you certainly haven't done anything to get ready for this. The other thing is, leaders need to have the ability to make a decision and accept the consequences for their decision. Okay? It's not let me think about it. Let's put it up to a vote. What do y'all think? That's not a leader. Okay? A leader's like, here's the problem, here's the solution, this is what we're doing. Period. No debate, no nothing. This is it. Now, again, you're going to get into that situation of, do you agree with this person's decision? Do you not agree with this person's decision? There's going to be a decision somewhere that you're not agree with. If you find that you're disagreeing with this person constantly, that's not a group you want to be part of, just like a job. If you don't believe in the company's mission, if you don't believe in your manager or whatever it would be, you quit, okay? Same thing in SHTF. I can give you stories going back to the military. And, leadership is definitely, like I said, experienced, and it's something you're also trained in, okay? I can give you a military experience. There are lieutenants, platoon leaders that were over me, okay, over my platoon, that were exceptionally good, that I'd walk through fire to do what they requested because I respected them. There were other ones that they didn't last long, okay, because they did not have the buy-in, I guess, if you will, of the troops. Now, in a military structure, obviously, we had no choice. You know, it wasn't our decision. You can't fire somebody, okay? But, you know, one of the greatest lines I ever heard was from a warrant officer who I highly respected. Said, you don't have to respect the person, but you have to respect the rank. Okay, very true. You know, yeah, you had to do what this incompetent LT said, but you did it begrudgingly, and you definitely didn't go the extra mile versus the guy that everybody respected, and he wanted something done. It got done quickly. It got done to the best of everybody's ability, and us as the troops are all like, okay, what's next? You know, think about the stories you hear about World War II, about Vietnam, whatever it would be, about all these officers that got shot in the back. Okay? Just making that point here real quick, but you think about it. The leaders are going to rise to the occasion, and you have to figure out whether or not you are going to be a leader or you are going to be a follower. Some of us already know that, what capacity we're going to wind up in, okay? Be it either way, all right? And usually people can tell what capacity other people are going to be in. You know, what's their knowledge? What do they know? What have they done, all right? Do they have the capacity? And again, it's going to depend on the situation as well. Could I lead a Ranger battalion? Hell freaking no. Why? First quality of a leader, in my opinion, okay, you have to be willing to do whatever you're going to ask everybody else to do. I'm sorry, I'm not willing to jump out of an airplane, so I'm certainly not going to ask anybody else to do it, okay? Therefore, no way am I a leader of paratroopers, you know, as an example. And y'all know what your capabilities and your capacity is, you know. A good leader will be willing to do whatever he asks somebody else to do. Will you run into a burning building to rescue the people in there? Or would you be the person that would tell somebody else to do it because you're afraid? At that point, you're not the leader. There's going to be some really, really, really tough decisions to be made in SHTF. No question, okay? Whether it's going to be accepting a person to your group or kicking a member out, okay? Whether it's going to be how food is going to be rationed, whether it's going to be what your defensive posture is going to be. Simple ones. What's a duty roster look like? Okay, I'm going to tell you this right now. Somebody's going to have to write that duty roster for guard duty, for example. And you can pretty much bet nobody's going to want to do the midnight to 3 a.m. shift. Oh, that's when I want to sleep. Okay. You have to be able to be the one to tell them, you're doing it, no choice. And when they bitch, it's like, okay, here's your choice. Either do it or leave. And you have to stand by those convictions. There is no, well, you know, maybe if somebody else will do it or whatever it would be. If you can trade with somebody. Leadership is not about being a pansy, okay? You know, look at the leadership we have in government, all right? Would you follow Joe Biden? Would you follow Pete Buttigieg? Would you follow Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer? No, on the same respect. Would I follow Mitch McConnell? Would I follow, you know, Ted Cruz? No. Okay, I'm sorry. In an SHTF situation, they don't offer me anything that I would want to follow. You know, you look at a great leader, okay? And again, I'll use the military reference. George Patton. Why would I say Patton was a great leader? Oh, yeah. Well, he stormed through Western Europe on his way to Berlin in a tank. He wasn't the one who was sitting back 30 miles behind the front in a tent somewhere calling on the radio saying, you need to go do this. No, he was in the tank doing it himself. Okay? That's what you need in an SHTF situation. You need leaders who are willing to do it themselves. Not, I mean, even if you go on a simple one, food, okay? Relatively basic prepping topic. How are we going to ration our food? How are we going to replenish our food? Somebody needs to make those decisions. Well, I don't like beans. Sorry, it's a highly productive crop. We are growing beans. You will learn to like them or you won't eat. It's not dictatorial, okay? It's the survival of the group. You know, a leader needs to be respected, but a leader also needs to make those decisions that need to be made for the benefit of everybody in the group. You know, thinking of the group as a whole, not the group as a collection of separate individuals. That's what a MAG needs to be. It needs to operate as one cohesive unit, not a unit of separate individuals. I don't want to do this. I don't care. This needs to be done, and you are an able body at the moment. Okay? I'm going to be right next to you picking potatoes, or my turn for guard duty comes up too, or whatever would be. This is the thing that people really are going to struggle with in SHTF. You know, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. That's what we're going to have. I guarantee you're going to see it. Everybody's going to think their opinion's the best. Fine. You go deal with what you have. I will deal with what I have. Do you have the experience? No. Do you have the supplies? No. Do you have the knowledge? No. Then why in the hell would anybody listen to you? Face it, guys. In an SHTF situation, you and me are going to be the leaders. Why? Because we were the ones with the foresight to put food back, to learn the skills, to have the weaponry, to have the ammunition, to do what needed to be done, to look at a situation and go, this is how I can overcome this situation. The person who thinks they're going to fly by the seat of their pants when Antifa comes running down the street, when the Chinese come over the hill, when the economy completely collapses, when we have a government trying to take everything we own, those people aren't going to make it. They're going to look for leadership. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? The first time you hear somebody say, what do I do? They've just eliminated themselves from consideration of leadership. Period. Okay. Unfortunately, in corporate America, that seems to be the people that get promoted. Okay. You know, it's the old saying, those that can do, those that can't manage. You know, it's also those that can do, those that can't teach. But that's another video for another day. Leadership is going to be critical in SHTF. The main thing about leadership is lead by example. If you don't know how to do it, if you can't do it, if you aren't willing to do it, you have no business leading others. If you can, you're going to be the one that rises to the top. Be prepared for that. Because a lot of people are going to look at you and go, Mary, what do we do? And you're going to have to split second. We need to do this and this and this and this. And you need to say that with conviction and believe in what you say. And it needs to be a good decision. Making good decisions quickly is going to be critical in SHTF for a leader. prepare yourself for that, because chances are you're the one that's going to have to do it for a group of people. Pinball out.